Is racism alive and well in our own backyards? That's the question being raised in one Killeen neighborhood tonight after handouts from a white supremacist group started appearing in driveways there. Good evening, and thanks for joining us on Channel 6 News Weekend Edition. I'm Chris Rogers. Those residents now alarmed and disgusted after finding those racist pamphlets scattered across the very area they call home. So we decided to investigate. Where do they come from? Who is behind the handouts? And what is their motive? We posted pictures of the flyers on our Facebook page and asked if you'd seen anything similar. Many of you felt something was off with the flyers and questioned the source. Take a look at some of these comments. This one reading, "While I suppose it could have been true, I suspect troublemakers are somewhere in this picture." Another comment echoing a similar sentiment. "Why do I feel like these were planted by idiots wanting attention? Victimhood is next to saintly these days." But also reports of these flyers popping up in different areas around Central Texas. They're being delivered in the Coppers Cove area as well, one viewer writes. So we decided to do a little digging and separate the fact from the fiction. Our own Kurtis Quillin has been looking into this all day long and joins us now in our newsroom. Kurtis?
Good evening, Chris. As you can imagine, people in that Killeen neighborhood were in shock when they went outside this morning and found these hate flyers at the end of their driveways. Neighbors called it concerning, so we went to work to find out the story behind them in this Channel 6 News investigation.
I'm genuinely taken aback.
What started as a typical Sunday morning quickly became alarming for people in a quiet neighborhood in Killeen.
Just outside mowing the lawn, walking the dog, trying to see if there was any trash out, on the curb or anything. And I just noticed, these Ziploc bags.
Those Ziploc bags littered across the entire neighborhood had a rock and a flyer. The flyer was propaganda for a white supremacist group. While walking down the street, Channel 6 found two different flyers placed inside the bag. One of those read across the top, "Save our nation," and added, "Just say no to drugs." The other, "Say no to cultural genocide." The second says, quote, "They are trying to wipe us out of the history books." Both flyers appear to endorse the Ku Klux Klan. When Howard Katz found a note in his driveway, he says he was, quote, "disgusted."
There's a reason that they have to hide behind hoods, because they know what they do is absolutely disrespectful and morally repugnant.
But just where did these flyers come from? We did some digging after we found that one of the things on both flyers was a website for KKKnights.com. So we went online, we entered in the address, and when we hit enter, lo and behold, we found a website that was nothing but an error message. Also on the flyers were 3 phone numbers, one of which was incomplete on the flyers. So we called the other 2, and when we did...
Sorry, the mailbox is full and there is not enough space to leave a message.
We got this message when calling a 714 number on one of the flyers, which a records search on Spokeo revealed was last registered to a man in Santa Ana, California, who died 7 months ago. The second number, a 1-800 number.
You've reached the Federal Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration Treatment Referral Routing Service.
Was for a federal hotline, so it's unclear where the flyers came from, but what we do know is that the information listed is not legitimate. But for Dolores Thomas, she's using this as a teaching moment for her daughter Simone, a senior at Killeen's Ellison High School.
This is the reality we live in. So I was just thinking, this just happened in my neighborhood, at my house, and I could do nothing about it.
In today's political climate, with the nation seemingly divided, Dolores and Simone don't plan to change anything in their day-to-day lives.
You can't fight hate with hate, because that's not how it works.
Now, we also reached out to the Killeen Police Department today to see if they had heard about the flyers and asked them whether they were considered protected speech or harassment. We were told to check back in tomorrow. Chris.
All right, Kurtis, thanks so much. Well,